"You're done, Helen," Richard snarled, slamming my termination letter on his desk. I stood there, 45, my heart pounding, staring at a lie that could destroy me. Richard, my boss, had cooked the books, swindled millions, and fired me to pin his fraud on me. He thought I'd break, lose my kid's future, my home. He was wrong. I'm Helen Carter, and this is how I uncovered his scam, dragged him to court, and made him pay. I'd worked at Pinnacle Investments in London for 15 years, crunching numbers as a senior financial analyst. It wasn't glamorous, spreadsheets, late-night audits, the hum of computers, but I loved the precision. My team was my lifeline. We'd swap stories over coffee, vent about deadlines. At 45, I was proud of my life. My twins, Sophie and Ben, 14, were my world. My job paid our mortgage, covered their music lessons, kept our dream of a family trip to Italy alive. I wasn't chasing power, just stability. Richard joined 3 years ago, a 40-year-old CEO with slick suits and big promises. He was all charm, pitching bold strategies to clients, whining and dining the board. At first, I respected his hustle. He'd thank me for catching errors, call me the backbone. But soon I saw through him. He'd push risky deals, fudge reports, and dodge my questions about discrepancies. I overheard him once, boasting to a client about creative accounting. I thought he was just careless. I was wrong. I remember when Richard seemed all right. He'd ask about my kids, joke about my coffee addiction. I thought we were a team. But last year, he changed. He'd snap at my reports, question my numbers in front of everyone. "Get it right, Helen," he'd say, his smile gone. My team started whispering, giving me sideways glances. I ignored it. I had bills to pay, kids to support. I couldn't afford to stir trouble. But trouble found me. It started with small red flags. Client accounts showed odd transfers. £50,000 here, £100,000 there, signed off by Richard. I flagged them, thinking it was a glitch. He brushed me off. "Just a mix-up, Helen. Handle it." But the numbers kept growing. Millions vanishing into offshore accounts. My gut screamed fraud, but I had no proof. I started saving his emails, noting every shady deal. Then, one night, I found a hidden ledger on the server, Richard's name all over it, funneling client money to a shell company. My hands shook. This wasn't a mistake. It was a crime. I should have stayed quiet, but I didn't. I emailed Richard, asking for a meeting about discrepancies. Big mistake. The next day, he called me into his office, his face like stone. "You're leaking data, Helen," he said, shoving a forged report at me. "Clients are furious." My stomach dropped. "I didn't leak anything," I stammered. He leaned in, voice low. "You're fired. HR's got your papers. Get out." I saw his smirk as I left. My team staring. He'd framed me. Painted me as the traitor to cover his tracks. I went home, my world collapsing. My husband Tom was cooking dinner. He saw my face and froze. "Helen, what's wrong?" I sank onto the couch, voice breaking. "Richard fired me, Tom. He's saying I stole data." His jaw tightened. "You? A thief? No way." He hugged me, but I felt the weight. Without my job, we'd miss mortgage payments. Sophie and Ben's lessons would stop. Our Italy trip would die. That night, I lay awake, picturing Richard's smug face. He wasn't just after my job. He was shielding a multi-million-pound scam. I had to fight back. The next morning, I called Anna, an old colleague who'd left for journalism. We met at a quiet cafe. "Richard's dirty," I said, showing her the ledger screenshot. Her eyes widened. "This is huge, Helen. I can publish it, but we need hard proof." My pulse raced. "I'll get it, but I need help." She nodded. "I've got contacts. Be careful. He's dangerous." I also called Mike, a junior analyst still at Pinnacle, loyal to me. "I'm in," he whispered. But Richard's watching everyone. Our little team was set, but the clock was ticking. We started digging. Mike snuck me server access, risking his job. I found Richard's emails, orders to adjust accounts, signed with his initials. I saved every one, my hands trembling. Anna tipped me off about a client meeting where Richard bragged about his profits. I needed that on record. Mike rigged a voice recorder in the boardroom, hidden in a plant. It caught Richard laughing. "The board's clueless. We're untouchable." My heart pounded. It was damning, but not enough. Richard was moving fast. Anna said he was transferring funds offshore in 48 hours. If he succeeded, the money and my proof would vanish. I needed more. Mike got me a deleted file from Richard's laptop. Bank statements linking him to the shell company. But Richard was paranoid. He'd hired a PI, and I noticed a black car tailing me home. My stomach churned. I told Tom, voice shaking, "They're following me." He gripped my hands. "We'll keep the kids safe. You finish this." I nodded, but fear gnawed at me. The next night, I logged into the server from home, downloading the last statements. My phone pinged, a text from an unknown number. "Stop digging, or your kids pay." My blood ran cold. Richard wasn't just covering tracks. He was threatening my family. Time was slipping. Mike texted. Richard was wiping the server. Our evidence was at risk. I drove to Pinnacle at midnight, heart racing, using Mike's keycard to slip in. The office was dark, silent. I was at the server room when headlights flashed outside Richard's car. I froze, ducking behind a desk as he stormed in, muttering, "No loose ends." He typed furiously, deleting files. My drive was still copying, seconds from done. I held my breath, praying he wouldn't see me. The drive beeped. He turned, eyes narrowing, but I grabbed it and bolted, sprinting to my car. He shouted, chasing me to the lot. I peeled out, tires screeching, my hands shaking. I had everything: emails, recordings, statements, but Richard wasn't done. He filed a lawsuit, claiming I'd stolen trade secrets. The police called, summoning me for questioning. My heart sank. If I didn't act, I'd face jail, lose my kids. Anna connected me with a lawyer, who said we needed to go public and legal. I sent the evidence to the Financial Conduct Authority and the police, begging for a hearing. They set a court date, but Richard's team was powerful. I barely slept, clutching Tom's hand. "You're stronger than him," he said. I hoped so. The courtroom was a war zone. Richard sat smug, his lawyers painting me as a disgruntled liar. My lawyer called me to the stand. I plugged in the drive, voice steady. "Richard defrauded clients for millions," I said. The room went quiet as the recording played, his voice clear, bragging about the scam. I showed the emails, the statements. The judge's eyes narrowed. Richard's face drained. "It's fabricated," he shouted, slamming the table. His lawyer tried to spin it. But Anna's article hit the press mid-trial, exposing his shell company. The gallery gasped. The judge banged her gavel. "Mr. Lawson, you're remanded for fraud." Richard was cuffed, his eyes wild, shouting threats as they dragged him out. The board called me the next day, offering my job back and the CFO role. I accepted, my hands trembling. Richard got 7 years, his name poison in finance. His empire collapsed, clients pulling millions overnight. He'd fired me to save himself. I burned his world down. 3 months later, I was CFO. The pay cleared our mortgage arrears, and Sophie and Ben got new instruments. Tom and I booked that Italy trip, laughing over pasta with the kids. Richard? Last I heard, he was rotting in a cell, his legacy gone. He thought he could silence me. I spoke louder. At 45, I learned one thing: when they crush you, fight back with proof. Courage, evidence, timing. That's how you win. Ever been screwed over by a boss? Drop your story in the comments. If this hit home, smash that subscribe button. I'm Helen, and I'll see you in the next one.